Welcome to Accreditation Unlocked, the podcast that opens a door to successful strategies, smart practices, and sustainable solutions for all things accreditation. I'm your host, Dr. Ken Clough, founder of the Accreditation Collaborative, and today we're diving into a challenge that nearly every institution of higher education faces sooner or later: staff turnover, and more specifically, how it threatens your institution's accreditation continuity. Accreditation isn't just a periodic task or a one-time hurdle. It's an ongoing, living process that demands continuity, institutional memory, and a proactive strategy. So what happens when the people with key accreditation knowledge walk out the door? Today's episode is titled, Keeping the Knowledge: How to Overcome Staff Turnover in Accreditation. And whether you're an institutional leader, a newly onboarded accreditation coordinator, or a seasoned faculty member trying to maintain momentum, this one's for you. Part 1. Understanding the real impact of staff turnover. Let's begin with the basics. Why does staff turnover hit accreditation efforts so hard? In theory, a well-run institution should be able to withstand transitions. But in practice, accreditation is one of those areas where so much of the work depends on people who've been there before. People who remember what was done last time. People who have lived through the feedback cycles and know where the files are buried, sometimes literally. Let's unpack 4 major challenges turnover creates. Number 1, loss of historical knowledge. One of the most underestimated losses in accreditation turnover is institutional memory. When a long-standing assessment director, compliance officer, or accreditation liaison leaves, they don't just take their personal effects. They often take years' worth of undocumented knowledge with them. Maybe they remember how a past recommendation was addressed, or why a certain benchmark was set the way it was. Or perhaps they know how a self-study was structured to respond to a particular standard. And when a person like that walks away, the knowledge disappears, unless it's been carefully recorded and preserved. And let's be honest, most of the time it isn't. Number 2, disruptions in compliance and reporting. Accreditation isn't a set-it-and-forget-it endeavor. It's continuous. There are timelines, reporting cycles, surveys, data collections, meeting minutes, and evidence tracking systems. When staffing is unstable, those processes suffer. Deadlines get missed. Data becomes inconsistent. Reports fall short of clarity or fail to align with standards. Or worse, new staff often don't even know what questions to ask. This puts institutions at risk, not just of failing to meet expectations, but of damaging their reputation with accrediting bodies who value consistency and sustained improvement. Number 3, increased training and onboarding costs. Let's talk dollars and cents. Every time a new staff member comes on board, your institution must invest time, energy, and funding into training. Accreditation isn't something you grasp in a 2-day orientation. New hires need to understand the standards, the institution's process, how to locate key documentation, how to interpret old reports, and how to coordinate across departments. Without a structured plan, onboarding can drag on for months. Meanwhile, compliance slows or even stalls. Number 4, gaps in strategic planning and continuous improvement. And finally, turnover can derail your long-term goals. Remember, accreditation isn't just about compliance. At its best, it's a framework for institutional improvement. It pushes us towards better outcomes, more intentional planning, and mission alignment. When key people leave, projects stall, plans are abandoned, and progress often gets reset. That's a high cost to pay, especially if your institution is trying to build a culture of continuous improvement. So what can we do about it? How do you create a system where knowledge doesn't leave with the person and where progress doesn't get tied to individual personalities. Let's talk about solutions. Part 2. How to safeguard accreditation continuity. This is where we pivot to strategy. And the good news is that turnover, while disruptive, doesn't have to be devastating. With the right structures in place, institutions can weather transitions with grace and even improve their systems along the way. At the Accreditation Collaborative, we specialize in helping institutions build sustainable, resilient accreditation ecosystems. And based on years of hands-on experience, we recommend a 5-part approach. Let's break it down. Strategy number 1, accreditation knowledge retention and documentation. First and foremost, you need to build an accreditation knowledge base. That means more than just dumping files in a shared drive. We're talking about clear, accessible documentation of institutional accreditation history, self-study reports and follow-up actions, committee structures and responsibilities, strategic planning documents, process guides and reporting cycles, and tools and templates used for evidence collection. Think of this as your accreditation playbook. Anyone new to the process should be able to open it and understand what's been done, why it was done, and how it ties to the standards. When we work with clients, we often conduct an accreditation audit to identify what knowledge exists, where it lives, and what needs to be formalized. Once you do this, transitions become manageable, not mysterious. Strategy number 2, ongoing consulting and expert support. Let's face it, no matter how strong your team is, you can't do everything alone. That's where expert support makes a huge difference. Whether you're dealing with an interim phase between staff hires or simply want consistent guidance, having a trusted external consultant means you maintain forward momentum even during transitions. You have a sounding board for compliance questions. You receive help aligning your efforts with accreditation standards. And you reduce the risk of falling out of compliance due to internal flux. At the Accreditation Collaborative, we serve as that consistent presence, keeping your team grounded and on track while internal roles shift. We help interpret feedback, prepare for site visits, structure documentation, and facilitate training. We stay with you for the long haul, not just for the panic moments. Strategy number 3, training and professional development. This one is critical. New staff needs more than a welcome letter and a folder full of PDFs. They need context. That's why we recommend and offer customized professional development programs for accreditation roles. These programs introduce new team members to your institution's unique accreditation history, current cycles, documentation expectations and deadlines, best practices for evidence collection and narrative writing, communication strategies for working with internal stakeholders, and understanding accreditation as a tool for continuous improvement, not just compliance. When onboarding is strategic, not reactive, you get better results faster. You'll also boost confidence and reduce mistakes that could lead to setbacks. Strategy number 4, flexible outsourcing solutions. Now let's be honest. Sometimes internal capacity just isn't there. Maybe your institutional research office is understaffed. Maybe the academic affairs team is juggling too much. Maybe you lost 3 key people in 6 months. Whatever the reason, sometimes the best solution is temporary outsourcing. We provide institutions with a range of options, from short-term project assistance to long-term partnership models where we manage or co-manage major portions of the accreditation process. This is not about giving up control, it's about filling the gap. You stay in charge, we help shoulder the load so your standards are met, your work stays on schedule, and your stress level drops. We can do everything from writing compliance reports to coordinating self-study calendars to serving as interim accreditation officers. Our goal is to be the bridge that keeps you moving forward. Strategy number 5, proactive accreditation planning, and risk mitigation. Finally, and this may be the most important, institutions must shift from reactive to proactive planning. Ask yourself, what happens if our accreditation liaison leaves tomorrow? Do we have a documented timeline for upcoming reports? Are responsibilities clearly assigned across departments? And are we building a bench of people trained in accreditation basics? We help institutions develop multi-year accreditation plans that factor in potential staff turnover. We include backup roles, communication plans, shared calendars, and regular review cycles to keep things moving, no matter who is at the helm. Part 3. Putting it all together. So let's recap. Staff turnover is inevitable. People retire, people move, people change roles, but your institution's accreditation work doesn't have to suffer because of it. When you build robust documentation systems, when you provide strategic onboarding and professional development, when you access external expertise when you need it, and when you proactively plan for risk, you transform your accreditation approach from fragile to resilient. And that's what we're all about at the Accreditation Collaborative, helping you create an accreditation infrastructure that can withstand change and sustain excellence. Part 4. What can you do today? Before we wrap up, let me leave you with 5 action steps you can take today. Number 1, inventory your accreditation knowledge. Create a list of what lives where and what lives only in someone's head. Number 2, schedule a transition planning meeting. Gather your core accreditation stakeholders and talk through what would happen if some key person left. Number 3, create a quick start guide for new accreditation staff. Even a one-pager can make a huge difference during onboarding. Number 4, reach out for support. Whether it's a one-time consultation or ongoing assistance, external guidance can help you move forward with confidence. Number 5, visit accreditationcollaborative.com. We offer tools, templates, training, and more. Let us help you secure your accreditation process for the future. Well, thanks for joining us today on Accreditation Unlocked. If you found today's episode helpful, share it with a colleague or leave us a review. And don't forget to subscribe so you'll never miss an episode. Institutional knowledge shouldn't leave with your people. Let's work together to make accreditation sustainable, strategic, and staff-proof. Until next time, I'm Dr. Ken Clough, unlocking accreditation one conversation at a time.